the biggest concerns right now for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
Dodger Blues, biggest concerns about our boys in blue.
So big shout out to my man Todd Lights, the voice of the Dodgers, the PA voice of the Dodgers, doing those drops for us. Really appreciate him. So the first concern I want to get into, there's a little bit of a debunking as well. And I want to talk about Tanner Scott. That was the headline yesterday. That was what social media was talking about. Tanner Scott, you never pay a reliever. Don't pay a reliever. They're volatile. They're like one-hit wonders. You know, you never know what you're going to get from year to year. Why would you pay a reliever? It's the reason why Friedman hasn't done that. And they did give Tanner Scott a $72 million deal. And so far, has he been elite? He has not. Has he looked like a $72 million closer? No, he has not. But he hasn't been as far off as people are making out to be. They do not need to have someone else as their majority closer. They do not need to reduce his role in any capacity. He has 2 blown saves. He's saved 8 out of 10 opportunities. And the one thing about Tanner Scott is it's a simplified pitch mix. His pitch mix is 60% fastball, 40% slider. And last night, the fastball from a velocity standpoint was the best we've seen it all season. He was pumping over 97. But what I would remind you of when it comes to Tanner Scott is throughout his career, he's been a slow starter. Would you rather have a blown save in April or see how he performed against the best player on the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, when he was dominating Shohei Ohtani in the NLDS last season? This is the Tanner Scott process. Tanner Scott last season in March and April, still a respectable 2.84 ERA, but it went down significantly after that. In 2023, his March and April ERA was 5.25. I mean, you look at those numbers right there, that's who he is. Heading into the start, he had a 2.77 ERA. He had a 2.77 ERA, a 1.74 ERA plus heading into this appearance. And this time last year, he was posting a 3.38 ERA. Do you know what it was at the end of the season? 1.75. So, no, he's not Agent Zero from the San Diego Padres who has infiltrated the Dodgers to ruin this team. I've seen a lot of overreaction for Tanner Scott. No one's mentioning that Alex Vesey gave up a 2-run shot the inning prior. No one's mentioning that Dustin May gave up 7 runs. No one's mentioning that, yeah, his numbers overall haven't screamed elite, but people acting like he's Joe Kelly in 2018. That's just not the case. Tanner Scott hasn't been great, but he has not been a bum either. He has not been a bust in any way, shape, or form. He's definitely not been that. So I still think that they're going to get the best version of Tanner Scott. I still think that they have to keep doing what they're doing and using him in those high leverage situations. I don't think that it's a situation where he was performing in Miami and is performing in San Diego and that he can't handle the pressure of pitching for the Dodgers and the pressure of living up to that $72 million contract. I don't think that is the case. I just think this is a guy that has been a slow starter that has mostly been successful, and he's seeing his stuff trend up. Like I said, last night was the best that we've seen his fastball play. And for him, it's just about location and sequencing. That was not a good pitch to Amaya. You don't make that pitch. And yes, the savant numbers, his expected ERA isn't good, 5.67, 16th percentile, expected batting average, 3.34, 4th percentile. Fastball velo, still above average. Average exit velocity is below average in the 5th percentile at 93.1 miles per hour. Where he's been elite is a 0% walk rate, and he still gets a lot of chase. But you're going to see him be like the hard. They've been squaring him up, but things are trending in the right direction. They certainly are. And last night he made a bad pitch. I think for him, he just needs to stay the course, realize that this is who he is. And trust me, I'm all for, okay, let's jump to conclusions. You guys know I was the one who said, hey, Cambrelsa, it was time to let it go, right? I was the one who said it's the California adventure. I don't want to ride that roller coaster anymore of the California adventure. But the difference with Tanner Scott is the stuff is still there. The reason why he was great before, he still is capable of doing, and that is throwing a 97 plus mile per hour fastball and a slider that gets a ton of swing and miss. So I'm not worried. I really am not worried about Tanner Scott. You guys make it seem like it's Michael Scott out there throwing the baseball. Tanner Scott is going to be just fine. But let me know down below in the comment section. Are you concerned about Tanner Scott? So that one is not a big concern. I'll give you one that I'm more concerned about. And that is Mookie Betts. And Mookie Betts at the plate. Right now, Mookie's 231 batting average is the lowest of his career. 410 slug, the lowest of his career. 758 OPS, lowest of his career. And the thing is, it's not like he's striking out a lot. Like Max Muncy is struggling, right? But he's not. It's because of he has struck out a good amount and he's been unlucky. But Mookie Betts, an 8.7% strikeout rate. That's not a lot. That's actually the best it's ever been for him throughout his career. And then you look at, well, what's the batting average on balls in play? It is low at 212. But what concerns me with Mookie is you look at some of those advanced numbers that he had been dominant with his entire career. Just red everywhere. So much red that it's just complete dominance at the plate for him. That has not been the case so far this season. I mean, you look at Mookie Betts' advanced of 15th percentile expected batting average, 18th percentile expected slug, 21st percentile average exit velocity. His 87.5 mile per hour exit velocity would be the lowest in his career. 15th percentile barrel rate at 2.9%, 10 percentile and hard hit percentage, that's 28.6. That would be the lowest of his career. And the bat speed is at 67.2. That is in the 5th percentile. So a lot of the metrics that we've seen Mookie be elite at in years past, consistently, he's dropped off significantly. And I think at some point, if he struggles for a long stretch, you do have to wonder how much playing shortstop has taken its toll on him offensively. Because guess what? It's a seesaw. The pendulum has swung. Mookie Betts now is a great shortstop. Defensively, it's a small sample size, but he's in the 9th percentile and outs above average. Another thing too, Mookie's sprint speed, he's down to the 19th percentile. So a lot of the kind of athletic stuff and things like that have taken a hit so far this season. And you guys know, Mookie, favorite dude by far in that clubhouse as far as the way he carries himself, the leadership. I mean, I love Mookie Betts. He's great. And I still think he's going to have a great season. I still think that that's in there. But right now, early on, I'm just giving you the unbiased, keeping it 100 you get with you guys, keeping it a buck version of this. And he did an interview with Dave Vassan, Dodger Talk, and he said about the shortstop spot, I genuinely love coming to work and going to work at short. It's actual fun for me. Like how people go to play golf. That's how I feel coming to practice at shortstop. I'm not saying a new light, but a different energy for me. I truly loved it. It's been fun. So I love the fact that he loves shortstop, but what makes Mookie Betts great, what makes Mookie Betts an MVP is what he can do at the plate. And if Mookie had played this level of shortstop and gave you the offensive numbers that we've seen from him throughout his career, you jump for joy. You do cartwheels right down 1000 Vince Scully Avenue, right? It'd be great. But that's not what we are seeing so far. It is 24 games. He has missed time. So I need to see more, and he's been a slow starter throughout his career. So this could be a lot of nothing, but it's definitely something that I'm monitoring early on. Now, next thing I want to talk about is, this is one from you guys. This is from Sad U Darvish. Sad U Darvish's biggest concern is that Decoy is losing quality time due to Shohei's new baby. I love that. By the way, Decoy's a big brother. Decoy's a big brother. But then you got Michael Conforto. He's been struggling. Teoscar Hernandez, his defense, and Andy Pages, his defense. Michael Conforto, Teoscar Hernandez, and Andy Pages collectively grade out as one of the worst defensive outfields in baseball. And this, surprisingly, has nothing to do really with Andy Pages. Andy Pages is a corner outfielder that's being forced to play in center field because Michael Conforto and Teoscar Hernandez, they're locked into their corner outfield spots. But so far this season, Andy Pages has been right at league average or above average when it comes to his outfield spot. I mean, he robbed a couple home runs. He helped Hiroki Sasaki in his last start. You've seen him make some highlight plays. You've also seen him make some missed plays too. It's kind of a mixed bag with him. But as far as overall grading, I mean, you really can't complain too much about Andy Pages' defense. The defense that's concerning is Teoscar Hernandez and Michael Conforto. You look at Teoscar Hernandez's defense so far this season, he's in the 1 percentile, a -4 outs above average. And right field is supposed to be where he's at his best, and he did grade out better in right. But defensively, he has struggled early on. Michael Conforto in the other outfield spot, he has struggled early on. Michael Conforto, you look at some of his metrics, he's in the 4th percentile in outs above average. So Teoscar in one corner in the 1 percentile, where you want to be as close to 100 as you possibly can in percentile rankings, and then Conforto in the 4th percentile at -3. So you have two below average corner outfielders, and then you have a center fielder that should be a corner outfielder in Andy Pages, who's been miscast as a center fielder. So that tells you that collectively their outfield defense, they are sacrificing it because they think those guys are going to be able to hit. Well, on top of that, Michael Conforto has not hit to the level that they had hoped early on. Michael Conforto, if you look at where he's at offensively, he's now a below average bat, hitting 191, 99 weighted runs created plus, 22 games, 83 plate appearances, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. He needs to get it going. The walk rate's up, but he needs to hit the ball harder. And then same goes for Teoscar Hernandez. We love Teoscar, right? Sunflower Seeds, Teoscar Hernandez. I love me some Teoscar Hernandez. Top 5 all-time Dodgers smile. I'll say it. Teo, though, his numbers this year aren't as good as they were last year. He was a 134 weighted runs created plus, meaning he was 34% above league average offensively. Now he's down to 111. And the slug's been down. The on base has been down. The batting average has been down. The good thing is the strikeout numbers have been down too, in a good way. He's dropped his strikeout rate from 28.8% to 20.2%, but he's not walking. The walk rate has dropped from 8.1% last year to 3.4% this year. So still early, but the point I'm trying to make about the outfield is this team knew what they were getting when it came to the outfield defense, where you'll take passable and slightly below average if you can hit. But if you're not well above average offensively and you're below average defensively, that means you're at an average or below average rate from a overall production standpoint. That is why Teoscar Hernandez, despite his early success, he has a 0.1 F-WAR. A 0.1 F-WAR because of kind of the defensive shortcomings early on. Then Michael Conforto, you look at him where he's at, he's a negative 0.1 F-WAR. Defense, I don't think it wins championships, but I think it loses championships. Just look at the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge dropping the ball. Anthony Volpe not making the right play. The pinstripes crapping down their leg like we saw last season. So if you're going to play at this level, you better hit. That is the concern for me, is the outfield defense. Now, next big concern is really nothing too, I think this was a little overblown, but I'll just mention anyway. The Dodgers relievers innings are piling up. They have been overworked. They have been overworked like the Panda Express employees have after the Dodgers wins. I mean, 100.2 innings for the Dodgers relievers combined this season. That's first in all of Major League Baseball. So you've gotten more length from your starters lately. Yama's giving you 6 and 7. Even Dustin May in a bad start gives you 5. The Bobby Miller start, that was a setback, and Robleski and Landon Knack really didn't go deep into games. And you are missing Blake Snell, Tyler Glass now having the cramps, then dealing with the mound issue. So, yeah, there have been some shorter starts. Roki Sasaki is building up. He wants to go at least 5 innings for the rest of the season. That's his goal. But I look at the overall production of the bullpen. They haven't been an elite bullpen yet. I still think they're rounding into form. You're still missing Michael Kopech. You lose Blake Trinan. And then Evan Phillips is working his way back. Anthony Bonda's had some ups and downs. Luis Garcia, shout out to Luis Garcia. Great dude. Great appearance yesterday. But he's someone that he's towards the end of his career. It's kind of just filling a spot while the rest of the relievers get healthy. Kirby Yates has had his moments, blew the save, then bounced back yesterday, got the big strikeout. But makes you wonder, do the Dodgers need another bullpen piece? Because you can't either A, count on all these guys getting and staying healthy, and 2, a guy could be available. And a lot of you guys in the Discord have been asking me about Ryan Helsley. And Ryan Helsley is certainly an interesting trade candidate that the Dodgers could consider if he becomes available. And Ryan Helsley, if you look at his contract status, after the season, he is going to be a free agent. He avoided arbitration this year with a 1-year, $8.2 million deal. And you look at the success that he's had early this season, yeah, he screams elite for sure. He screams elite for sure. But I wouldn't say it's incredibly elite. I mean, a 2.25 ERA, yes. He also has a 4.25 expected FIP. So that ERA a little bit outperforming the expected numbers. The strikeout rate's up at 11.25 strikeout rate. The home runs, he's kept to 0. He just does not give up home runs. But Ryan Helsley is pretty interesting. A lot of you guys have wanted him for a while. A lot of you guys have pushed for him. And I think really what it comes down to with Ryan Helsley, would the Cardinals shake hands with the enemy and do a deal with the Dodgers? They've done deals in the past, but it has been rare. But then again, last year you do a deal and you have Tommy Edman. But that was an interesting deal where did the Cardinals really know they were in on that? Right? When you look at Helsley, 97th percentile in fastball velo, 98.7 miles per hour. He misses barrels. He limits hard contact. Yeah, I think that's an option for sure if you're going to go that route. 4-seam slider, cutter, curve mix, mainly 4-seam slider guy. Still think it's a little early. But what if you combine him with Nolan Arenado? Is Arenado's stock going up for early trade candidates? Now, there's a couple options you can go to. So if Arenado's a guy, you still got $60 million. I mean, you got still money left and you have to commit to him. But he has gotten up to a really good start. The offense has been above average. The glove's elite again. He has a no trade clause. If the Cardinals were sellers, I guarantee you if Nolan Arenado is on the mound, or Nolan Arenado's on the trade market, I guarantee you that is a option for him. He would say, hey, call Andrew Freeman, the Dodgers first to see if they're interested. And that's the team I waited for.